So I went to go see the new Fantastic Four this week,
Mm.
which was okay. It's the
Oh,
middest movie I've ever seen. And while I
my
was
jaw is
there,
on the ground.
I know I was very excited for it, but Superman is just infinitely better. Like not even close. Um, and while I was at the movie, there were like three families because it was like a Wednesday night and it was 105 degrees Fahrenheit
Oh my
outside
God.
and it was like a 6 p.m. show. So it was like me and Jess, and then like a bunch of families with little kids who wanted to like beat the heat, you know?
Uh-uh.
And they talked the whole movie, like just all around us. But um, one of the comments that really stuck out to me, the new Avatar movie, like the Cameron Avatar,
Uh-huh.
not the anime Avatar, because um, not the way of a water, but like this one's all fire based, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I haven't followed it. Um,
Neither have I.
but one of the kids yelled out, they're like, it looks just like a video game. And it made me
Oh.
think about like, are we getting to a point now where video game graphics have gotten so good that movies are trying to catch up to video games?
I will say there has been so many times in my life where I've watched movies and I've been like, why did we stop just using real props? Like, why have we decided that
Hmm.
CGI is so much more? And I don't know if it's like cheaper for them or if like they genuinely believe like it looks better. But like, then I look at like old movies, I'm like, no, this was really good though, because I feel like they went out and they actually were like finding these situations that were actually blowing things up instead of
Oh
just
yeah.
being like, oh yeah, we'll just pretend and throw it in there in post production.
It's definitely cheaper, and you look at I think a great example of that is even like Lord of the Rings. If you watch the original Lord of the Rings trilogy and then you watch the
Hmm.
Hobbit trilogy, you can really tell that like the orcs and stuff in the original trilogy were actors in big suits, and then in
Hmm.
the new trilogy they were all CG, and there
Yeah.
was like a big difference. There's a big difference in like quality and like just sort of the uncanny valley of being like, okay, I can tell that this is CG versus I can tell that this is like a practical effect. It's pretty wild. It's pretty
I
wild.
think another really good example is the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh,
Like
really?
one through like three or four, I think is really good. They came out in what, early 2000s,
Hmm.
I think. They're great. And then the same kind of thing. I think as they got further and further in, they capitalized on using CGI more, but they also like the storyline. Like they went, I think in one of them, they like fucking like went to space or some shit. And it's
Well,
like, okay, let's like literally and most figuratively like bring it back to earth here. Like let's pull it together because I don't know if that's exactly what everybody's looking for.
well, don't like The Rock and Vin Diesel like hate each other?
I'm pretty sure they do have some like real life like beef.
Which
And
is
that was another thing is like I am okay with letting like the dead lie. And I saw Vin Diesel went out not too long ago and was like, yeah, we're bringing back um Fast and Furious. And I think he was kind of like alluding to the same thing. Like, we need to bring it back like home. It needs to be about cars and it needs to be about racing.
needs to be about family.
Yeah, it needs to be about family. And then was like, and I also want, Connor O'Brien is coming back. And it's like, but he died. Like, and you guys, like, you parted ways in that last like film and stuff. Like, I don't think we need to bring back his brother with the CGI face. Like,
No.
let that situation lie. Like, we do
Yeah.
not need to like I disagree with that sentiment.
Oh, for sure. And
But
yeah, I feel like right now that's just sort of how movies are, right? Like you have a franchise or even just a film that works. Like there's Freakier Friday now
mm-hmm.
out right now, and I'm like, do we need that? Like the first movie was so good.
Just let it be. We don't need to do anything else with old movies. That's like reboots. And we could probably talk about this like on a whole podcast of like reboots that I'm like, or redos that don't need to be done. Like, we do not, like, I'm sorry, but talking about Avatar, like the Airbender, stop touching that.
Yeah,
It's fine. It was a great show back then. It doesn't need to be touched anymore. Like,
and
leave it alone.
and I feel like there's all sorts of movie franchises right now that are really good that you for instance, what's this whole like K-pop Demon Hunter thing on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix? Like
It's
that's
on
just
Netflix. Yeah.
that's blown up, and like A24 has an animated film right now that I think's coming that's like got a 94 on It's like Niza or something like that.
I don't know, but A24, they do kill it.
They
A
do.
lot of their films are incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even though the last A24 film I saw mildly traumatized me, but
Which was?
Warfare.
Uh,
I left
I haven't seen that
Warfare.
one.
It was really traumatic, and it was, we watched it next door to like a Minecraft screening.
Oh, I
And-
remember you telling like the kids next door like chicken Jackie
in the middle of like this very serious recreation of a really shitty day in the Afghanistan war or the war in Iraq. I can't remember. I just remember it was like, oh my god, this is really awful to watch. And then I left being like, I wish I was at Minecraft because I think
this is a lot.
I think everyone next door had a better time than I did in this movie. But I mean, A24 also does a lot of really great genre stuff, and they kill it. They kill it.
On that topic, like, what have you been up to? We did miss, and sorry I never posted about it. We did miss a week, so we're kind of like, this is like an awkward like off week that will now be like our every other weekend. But Alex and I had been like just super busy.
Yeah, life has been crazy. I think it's just summer. Like
there's a lot going on.
We've been traveling. I've been spending time at my in-laws have a cottage like 5 hours away from here that we go and have spent some weekends, and I've been running like a fiend. Been running like.
Go ahead, tell them what you told me before we started.
Oh yeah,
how many miles did you run?
I ran 12 miles this morning.
For fun. I mean, he says for health, but still. Who just wakes up? You sound like my sister. My sister is a runner. She's run 2 or 3 Boston marathons.
Oh, good
and
for
like
her.
She's like, yeah, I love to run. I'm like, huh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it was like my main thing in high school. And I've been getting back into it in the past year, and I'm up to like, 90 kilometers a week, which is pretty close to 60 miles a week, I guess. Like,
that's wild.
So yeah, it's just been a lot of running. Honestly, not a lot of gaming. I've been playing Donkey Kong. I'm almost done Donkey Kong. I feel like watching all this stuff coming out from like the world, like Pokemon Worlds, has me really hankering to do a Nuzlocke. So I'm gonna like try like a Nuzlocke of like one of the ROM hacks, probably Renplat. Did you watch, on the topic of like Pokemon, did you watch the Nuzlocke like tournament that Ray did? That Valkyrie
I didn't. No.
You should watch. Point Crow did like summary videos for like Ray's Nuzlocke and Ludwig's Nuzlocke. They're like hour-long videos, but they're really entertaining.
Yeah. I
mean, be like a highlight reel.
I pulled out my Switch the other day because very similarly, I haven't been at my desk very often in like gaming. The past like 2 weeks, just been too busy, too much going on. And so I pulled out my Switch and I was like, maybe I'll like do some couch gaming though. And like looked, because they have like the online stuff. And I like I peeked at like a few Pokemon games and like, maybe this is a good time for me to like dive into like a Pokemon game.
I think you might like the Let's Go games. I think
that's right. I remember you saying that, and I remember putting it like on a list, being like, okay, maybe these are some of the ones I should try.
Yeah. So the way that Nuzlocks, do you know the rules for Nuzlocks? I guess you watched me do them. Like, if your Pokemon faints in battle, they're gone for good. You can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter in each route. There's no like duplicates. And then like you have a level cap, so you can't like over level the gym leaders. But basically what they did was, it was Pokemon challenges, and Point Crow, they assembled 8 of the like best Nuzlockers on Twitch, in quotes, just like some really good Nuzlocker content creators, and then just sort of like a bunch of big names, right? Like Ludwig, Connor Eats Pants, Valkyrie, Fuslie, and they had to beat a Nuzlocke of like a ROM hack of Pokemon Fire Red, and then they took the exact teams that they beat the Nuzlocke, and they did like a big event in Los Angeles where it was like a Pokemon like a battle tournament. So you had to battle using the team that you used for the Nuzlocke. So it was kind of like a cool little event. But they paired them up, right? So each person had a coach. Right. And Ludwig got paired up with Drew, like DRXX. I don't know if you've ever seen this content.
Think so. No.
Basically, it was the most toxic relationship I've ever seen on the internet, and it was so funny.
I was gonna.
Watching Drew just like rip into Ludwig for really doing really stupid stuff
I
was
was gonna
amazing.
say, and I feel like I don't watch a lot of Ludwig, but I
Yeah.
feel like he's more of like a comedy like special in himself than like a more serious like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm playing a game to win kind of streamer.
And he was the only person in the tournament I think that's ever like beaten a Nuzlocke on stream, I think. But he's beaten some like ROM hacks and some really difficult ROM hacks, but his whole thing is he is so focused on the content that he doesn't really care how he plays, because if he plays poorly, that's also good content. You know, if he rage baits people and if he gets Drew
I
going.
mean, yeah.
And it got to a point where like Fuslie and Ray were like hanging out in calls on stream, just like watching Ludwig and Drew fight like an old married couple. So like I'm gonna send you some videos for
Yeah.
when you're doing your thing. Like they're it's pretty entertaining. So that's kind of what I've been looking at in the video game world. How about you? What's been new with you?
Like I said, I've probably this is probably the least amount of time I've spent on my computer in the past like few weeks. Not this past weekend, so not this weekend but the weekend before, I guess, at this point because it's Sunday. I got to meet up with some friends, some gamer friends. So you guys have probably heard about us talk about like Bruce, who is Bruce Winless on Twitch, and then unfortunately like the other people are all like viewers, I guess you could call it, and less of streamers. Bruce is the only one within like our group that actually streams.
Now,
But you probably
think most of them had streamed at one point or another.
Yeah.
Joey's still my favorite League of Legends streamer ever.
Oh, there you go.
He did a great League of
so
Legends stream.
we had our buddy Bruce up, and then some other friends, Don, Joey, and Olivia, who I think we've mentioned throughout here just because those are the group that I spend a lot of time with. So we all met up this past weekend and had a great time. We did like me and Liv and Bruce are probably the bigger Pokemon people of the group of like collecting. Like right now, I have more Pokemon cards that are just sitting around because I need to make more space. Because for 3-ish months, we were buying and stashing Pokemon cards to open all together.
Oh my gosh.
Which was really fun. Like there was like I won a box for free. I also when Black Bolt and White Flare came out, there's a card shop down the street from me that was doing this like kind of cool giveaway where it was like you got to cut the line, but the big thing was you cut the line and you were able to buy one of like everything that was like in a certain list for MSRP.
Oh, cool.
And so they like sent me the list and they're like, hey, like you won, what do you want? And so we all went in on that and bought like the entire lot of the things that I was offered.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. It was like perfect timing too. So like got to open some Pokemon cards with friends in person, which was really fun. So did that, got to go to a minor league baseball game all together, which is why I have a Star Wars shirt on because the theme that night was Star Wars, so we all like
it's fun.
tried to wear like our Star Wars gear, and then did Top Golf, which I think every single time I post anything about Top Golf, Alex is like, I want to do Top Golf.
I want to do Top Golf
so
bad. When it's safer for me to cross the border, I want to come visit you and just go to Top Golf. That like if that's all we do in my in my travels,
I'd be
here.
Happy.
I could get off the plane, go to Top Golf, like Lizzy, and then we'll play Top Golf, and then I can leave.
Go home.
I'll go home. I'll be happy.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's like the one thing that we go to do, I think, whenever people are here. Like even like my dad, my parents are coming in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, we'll see like this baseball game. And he was like, if not, we can just always like default to what we always do. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, Top Golf. I was like, oh yeah, we could do that too. Like, sure, we'll do both of them if you want to.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I started a new show. I started Emily in Paris.
Oh, that's a fun show.
Have you watched it?
I've watched the first like 2 seasons.
Yeah, I just started season 2. It's been my binge watch as of late. I stayed up until like 10:30 last night, just like literally I think from like 7 to 10. That's like all I did.
It's a good like, only have half your brain running, like watch it kind of show.
Yeah, it's cute and it's funny, but it's not too serious, and that's kind of what I was looking for. And then like I said,
some romance,
I haven't been
some love triangles.
And then I grabbed my Switch the other day, being like, maybe I'll couch game for a bit.
Yeah.
So I was looking at like whether it's Pokemon or I've also been like itching to restart like some Zelda games. It's going to be something in that realm, I think.
Oh, I did play through Majora's Mask on my vacation.
Oh
That is
my
one thing I
god.
did do.
Damn.
Because I do that like once every like year or two because I love that game so much.
Oh yeah. I realized that Wind Waker is on the Switch.
It is. Well, is it on the Switch 1 or is it only Switch 2?
I'm pretty sure when I opened it on my Switch and I only have the first one, it was available.
Oh.
I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure I saw it. I just was like, I'm not going to download it right this minute because I don't think I'm going to sit down and play it right now.
I just didn't know
so
if
that was
GameCube
exciting.
games were on the OG Switch or not. I know that they're on. I know they're on the Switch too, but
regardless. But yeah, so that's kind of where.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah. But we kind of, before we started like what's been going on, we very briefly touched on movies and games. And typically I feel like we've been doing a lot of gaming talk. So we decided to switch it up this time and let's talk about some movies. And what a better franchise to talk about than the MCU.
Absolutely.
So we've done this before, and we're doing it again, where we are going to do a tier list of all of the MCU movies. So this will kind of also give you guys like an idea of like which ones have Alex and I seen, which ones do we like, because this will give us a good minute to talk about all of them. So this will give us kind of a good, or I guess y'all, and I don't know if Alex and I have really talked too much about Marvel, and like we've hinted at some of our favorite movies and why and stuff, but this will kind of like give us a good overview of like what we've seen, what we've liked, what we didn't, and kind of the same thing of like Zelda, of like arguing a little bit about where we believe some of these belong, because again, we haven't talked that much about the MCU. I know you were doing a watch through not too long ago.
I watched up until Endgame.
Okay.
Recently.
Okay.
I did not make it all the way through. After Endgame, I feel like things start to go off the rails a little bit in phases 4 or 5. And are we in 6 now?
I don't even know. Yeah, it's a bit.
Though I've seen a lot
wild.
of the more recent stuff. I just didn't watch it in my recent, like, I was like, when I'm at work, I will have stuff on another screen.
So I think looking at these, it seems as though this is also in like MCU order.
It is.
I think. Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to like look at it and I was like, this is not release date. This is like the way you're supposed to watch it. So let's start early, start with a great one, which is Iron Man, the original.
Absolutely. I think this is like not just one of the best hero movies of all time. I might put this in like, if I had a top 20 just movies of all time, this might be my favorite movie in the whole MCU.
Okay, good. I'm glad. So we're both agreeing that that's going like S tier, right? Because I am happy to put it up there because I genuinely think it's one of my favorite movies ever. Yeah. And emotional. And I think we talked about this when we did the Zelda one. Like I do a lot of like emotionally. This is like quite literally when I think MCU, I think Iron Man, because this is one of the very first movies I watched and was like, oh, I am in. Like I am hooked.
Yeah, and I don't think if if Iron Man wasn't as good as it is, I don't think we would have this whole franchise. Right?
Oh yeah.
I think it really set a really great tone that even if, let's say, the next movie stank, it wouldn't matter because Iron Man 1 is like, I think, a league of its own. Maybe not a league of its own. There's a few other MCU movies that are really good.
Dude, my mind is so in with freaking MCU right now. You said in the next movie is stank, and there's a moment in which one is it? Civil War. It's at the very, very end. It's after Rhodey gets hurt. And it's the cameo for Stan Lee, and he comes to the door and he's like, I have a package for Mr. Stank, and he's like, yep, that's Mr. Stank. And you said it and I was like, what is he talking about? It took me a full second that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. I just am so
Well,
My brain is now in.
and it's crazy because like Iron Man wasn't the first superhero movie, right? Like there's the Sam Raimi Spider-Man stuff. There were the Superman movies in the 80s and 90s. There was the
Uh-huh.
Batman, like the older Batman movies. But
And even this one, I think the Hulk came out before Iron Man. I
maybe
could be wrong, but I'm
uh,
pretty sure it's a bit older.
I won't. I'm not going to fact check you on it. I'm not sure. But like the whole idea of like the post credit scene and waiting,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's just like I went to see Superman 3 times in the theaters this summer because I love that movie so much. And you, when it comes to, you need to watch Superman. But anyway, we're talking about Marvel right now.
Uh-huh.
But they had 2 end credit scenes, and like the first, like I went the opening night, and no one got up. We all knew that there was an end credit scene coming because it's a
Mm-hmm.
superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's one of my favorite things is like watching people get up after a Marvel movie and being like, where are you guys going? Like, no, sit down. Like, let me save you some trouble and sit down so you don't have to YouTube this in like 3 weeks. Okay.
yeah,
So Hulk, like the old G Hulk.
have you
I'll be
watched
honest,
this?
I've never seen this.
Oh, it is Garbo.
Yeah, that's kind of why I haven't seen it.
It Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Edward Norton didn't come back as the Hulk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I it's like the most soulless like superhero movie I think I've ever seen, and this includes
I
Fantastic Four. Um, it's just ugly. It's dark.
It came out in
It,
2003. I think I've seen like literal like clips of it,
yeah.
and that's about it. And I remember being like, I don't know if I could actually get myself to sit down and watch this, you know?
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because Liv Tyler was in it, and she's iconic. And I wish I could have seen
Mm-hmm.
more Liv Tyler, but um, it was so bad that Sony wouldn't greenlight another Hulk movie, and he has had to be like, second bill on like 6 other movies in the MCU just to get his storyline told because this movie is so bad. I think it's
Yeah,
appropriate that the D tier is green.
I was gonna say I think I'm. That's funny, actually. I'm okay with D because, like I said, the clips that I've seen, I've never been like, "Oh, I want to sit down and watch this." And it's
No.
nothing against old and like an older movie, but it was just like,
I've
all
watched it
right,
3 times, and all 3 times was, or no, the last 2 times were because I was doing a full watch of the MCU.
yeah, I'm. We're bad. Like every single time that we go to do it, we do like a rewatch. We will skip this one. We won't do an actual rewatch.
Honestly, respect.
Iron Man 2.
I like it. I thought it was like not as good as Iron Man 1.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
it kind of tells the story of like sort of as a lot of kind of second movie in a franchise, like kind of what post fame looks like for Tony
Mm-hmm.
Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought that like the villains, like the billionaire guy, I can't remember his name. Um,
Oh,
the
I've
the other weapons guy who like gets one
oh
upped by Tony Stark in like every scene he's in. Um,
God dang it. I know who you're talking about. He's the kind of nerdy
yeah,
not Ivan or whatever the fuck his name is, the Russian guy, but he's the white man who is basically like trying to control him. But yeah.
yeah. He was pretty entertaining and charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that it gives like Pepper and like the surrounding cast a little bit more. Like I feel like Iron Man 1 is just all about establishing Tony, and then
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man 2 really establishes the world.
Yep.
But I think
This is
the,
also, I don't know, maybe in Hulk, I could be wrong, but you also get to you meet Black Widow in this movie too.
you
At the
do,
time, you don't know. When you first see her, you just know her as uh
Natalie.
I don't even know if her yeah, is she Natalie? I think when she
Yeah.
comes to Tony's, yeah, you just know her as Natalie, and then they slowly kind of be like, oh, she's kind of wild, especially when she beats Happy's ass.
Yeah, that's a great scene. And there's like a lot
Yeah.
of great moments. And I feel like when you talk about movies that like set the tone for the MCU, like I feel like this is a lot more comedic than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to watch the kind of the evolution of like Disney knew that they were going towards sort of this more comedic, more a lot of bits introducing little bits of lore and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it in a way that it doesn't overwhelm the movie with lore, but also I think it's probably my least favorite of like the Iron Man movies personally.
Really? We'll have to come back to that because if we're talking about Iron 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
So Iron Man 2, I don't know. I'm somewhere between like A and B. I don't know if I.
I would accept either.
Hmm. Let's go. We'll go B
We'll
because I
go
feel
B.
like it's not my favorite. I don't think it's top tier. I think there are some that are better, but it's definitely not like the bottom of the barrel.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm gonna take back what I just said. I think Thor might have actually been the very first movie. No, you want to know what happened? Is I didn't realize as a young kid that when I started getting into this, that the MCU was a whole entire freaking like universe, you know?
Yeah.
So I remember I watched Iron Man at home, and then I think Christmas, like the following year or something, my mom gave me Thor for Christmas. And I remember opening
Oh,
it and being like, I don't know what this is. And my mom was like, well, I thought you liked this kind of stuff. And I think my mom maybe knew something I didn't know. And I was like, I don't know. And I watched it on my computer on the way back home from like, because we were in a different state for Christmas. And
nice.
I was like, oh, this is great. This is incredible. Yes, I am definitely into the fact that this is very similar. Again, not knowing that it was the same universe.
Yeah, I feel like Thor as a franchise, like as a sub franchise of the franchise that is the MCU,
Mm-hmm.
like has had like a weird identity crisis a bit, right? Like there's sort of the pre and post Taika Waititi Thor,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
the
Yep.
the sword and sorcery Thor versus like the cosmic like New Zealand comedy Thor.
Uh-huh.
Um and I think I fall, as we'll get to, I think I fall a little bit more on the Taika Waititi side, but I thought
Uh-huh.
Thor 1 had its moments for sure. I felt like the end action scene with um the robot that slash like golem or whatever that shoots the lasers out of
He's
its
got like the
maw.
fire thing. Yep.
I thought it was kind of weak because it was just like in the middle of like a desert that was like very clearly a lifeless town,
Uh-huh.
but that had like two streets.
Uh-huh.
But it's
I'm
it's
such
Thor.
a sucker for origin stories. So like I think of Thor and I'm like,
Sure.
oh, this is where you learn about like him and like you learn about Loki and Heimdall and like the Bifrost and all this stuff. So I'm such a sucker for like that. But thinking of like the movie as a whole, I don't know. I think it's just because I'm a sucker that I remember like I still enjoy this movie to this day. I think it's also very interesting because no, I'll come back to that thought. It's not that movie that there's a big moment that if you're paying attention, you're like, oh, that kind of trickles into movies later. But it's not that Thor. It's
Thor
a
Dark
different
World.
one. Whatever one Hell is in, which is Dark World, isn't it?
No, Hela's in Ragnarok.
Okay. Then we'll come back to my point in Ragnarok. So I don't know. I might put it with personally, I might put it with B because I don't think
Yeah.
I liked it more than Iron Man 2.
No, neither did I. Yeah, I think B
But
is a good spot for it.
Captain America.
I mean,
Good
this is like
old
the origin story of origin stories. This is
yeah.
like it follows the formula to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Um,
I think I like it more than Iron Man 2 and Thor, to be honest.
I think I like it more, but not as much as the original Iron Man.
No, no,
So I think I'd put it in
I
A.
put it in A.
Again, sucker for a like. I mean, Steve Rogers, great like idea. I love. I could. A lot of people love Red Skull as a villain. I was
Mhm.
kind of like a bit more on the like hit or miss. Like I love that he comes back later though and
Yeah,
has a different story, which I thought was cool. But again, don't know if I loved the story as a whole as much as Iron Man. It's hard to. It's
it's very Indiana Jones, right? But I liked that they kind of played around with sort of that golden age of comics,
mm-hmm,
where Captain America was punching Hitler in the face, but in
mm-hmm,
reality, like There were all these young men who were in Europe dying while these comics were getting published,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the movie, in a very clever way, sort of addresses that, right, where he starts in America and then goes to Europe, and then like the soldiers are not like super in love with him because obviously he's not actually been in the literal trenches with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it. I also really like the whole Peggy Steve dynamic, and this
Yep.
is where a
Yep.
lot of that relationship is established. And obviously, spoiler alert for Endgame, for a
You
movie
haven't
that's
seen it,
like
but yeah.
6 years old, 7 years old, but like at the end of Endgame, when he ends up with Peggy, I think there's only an emotional impact because of this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He
Yep. Yep.
finally gets his dance. I cry every time I
Mm-hmm.
watch Endgame.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I cried multiple times during that movie. Avengers, the first one.
I
I
I have complicated feelings, but you go first.
I am a freaking, I'm just a sucker for any of them also that they're all in. Like, I think the
Yeah.
Avengers are probably some of my favorites
Hmm.
because you get to have all of them in one area. And I do think this is such a monumental, again, and a lot of them, I guess you could make this point that they're monumental because there's something that is, there's a hint being drawn that it is Thanos.
Yeah.
This one, again, like you don't know it until the end, but it was Thanos sending Loki to mess up New York City because it was all part of like Thanos's plan. So but
It's
as
also
like a
where the Infinity Stones, I think, are introduced with the Tesseract, right? I guess
yeah,
I guess the Tesseract is in Captain America, but I feel like you get more explicit Infinity Stone stuff in
yeah, that
Avengers.
too. So I this one I would probably put up on like A or a B just because I think there's so much to this one that you learn, and it's just like, I don't know, for me it's a pretty well-rounded movie in my opinion.
It is. I think, and this is definitely because of my disdain for the Snyderverse. Um,
Mhm.
but Joss Whedon had really, his direction really rubs me the wrong way, and he does a few jokes in that movie that I don't appreciate.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I just think back about, like, okay, like if I were to rank the Avengers movies, right, like
Mhm.
Avengers, Age of Ultron, Civil War, the two Infinity movies.
Mhm.
Um, I think this is probably my least favorite, but I think it's
Yeah,
important.
when you put it like that, yes, I can understand. It could be a C for me. I don't think it's a
I
D. I don't think it's bottom of the barrel.
I feel like it's a movie upon which all other movies should be judged, and I would be happy with B.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's B or C, but
Okay.
yeah,
No, we'll go B. Iron Man 3.
great Christmas movie.
So Die Hard.
um,
um, this felt very much like a filler movie to me. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I think the it's just one of the ones that I think I skip more often than none because to me it just was meh. It's not my favorite.
yeah, I can see that. I think for me, I found the whole Mandarin concept a little weak.
Mm-hmm.
Also, any movie that's like, we have to save the president, I just think is
Mm-hmm.
a weird cliche, especially
Mm-hmm.
for like Iron Man, who kind of operates outside of the U.S. military a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I also found the whole regenerating superhumans like a very played out trope.
Yep.
I feel
Yep.
like this is like a B or C tier for me.
I'm gonna go see because I really just like every single time I'm like it's just not, it does not stand the test of time
Mhm.
compared to like Iron Man 1 and 2. Like it's just one that I'm like and I can't think of like a big moment where it, like a lot of these other ones were like, oh well, you get introduced to this or you get introduced to this, and this one I don't think that there's, it was purely Iron Man and nothing else to do with the rest of the MCU. There's no Infinity Stone in this one. I don't think there's anything that comes back later on, except for Pepper being in a suit.
Yeah. Yeah, because even when they did Shang-Chi, they didn't do like this whole concept of the Mandarin was basically just retconned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So
can't
yeah,
think of
I
anything in
think
that
it's
movie. That's fair. That's very fair.
okay. Thor, this is the second Thor. What is it technically? I can't fucking read that.
Thor Dark World.
Okay.
And the fact that you can't remember the name of it should say everything we have to say about this movie.
It is not the best movie. I will admit that. But it explains where one of the Infinity Stones are, and I didn't
Yeah.
realize it until I think our last like the last time I did a watch through of all these, and I started to realize how important ish if you care
Yeah.
about where they are and what they like where they've been, then yeah, whatever. But this one really leans into where did the which one is it? The Reality Stone, I think.
Yeah.
Where was the Reality Stone? Where did it come from? How did it get into, their hands kind of thing? And this
Where'd
one
it come
explains a lot.
from? Where'd it go? Where'd it come from?
Cotton Eye
Cotton Eye
Joe.
Joe. Yes.
But it is not a
A good movie.
story. Yeah. So I don't know. C.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
Okay. Again, it's not as bad. I don't think it's as bottom of the barrel, but Um, Captain America. I can't read is the problem, and then I can't
Winter
think of half
Soldier.
of. Yeah.
Captain America Winter Soldier. I think this is one of the best movies in the MCU. I think. It's a really good spy thriller. You get a lot of Black Widow and Steve. I like the whole like government conspiracy, everyone's Hydra twist.
It has been a while. I'm
It's also
trying
where
to
you get Bucky.
remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember so much of this movie, and I am falling short, to be honest. Like, I am drawing a fucking blank.
So this is the movie where like Bucky comes. Well, you learn that Bucky has been kind of controlled by Hydra as this like sleeper agent who they keep on ice until they need him to assassinate people, and he tries to assassinate Nick Fury, and then Steve realizes that it's Bucky, and they basically try to take down Hydra, who has infiltrated like Shield, and it kind of sets up the events of Civil War in a lot of ways. And obviously there's like it's him and Black Widow kind of against the government. I really like it. I love it.
Where would you put it? Because I'm since I cannot remember most of this one, I'm happy with what you pick.
I would put it in A.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, that's you just put it in S, which is.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
There we go.
Guardians of the Galaxy. What a fucking movie.
Oh,
I love this movie.
I love Guardians too. It's really great.
I think it changed. It also was the movie that I think changed a little bit of the tone for the MCU, because we had very serious movies.
Yeah.
And then you bring in Guardians of the Galaxy, and the music changed. That soundtrack is probably one of the best soundtracks in the MCU ever.
It's also a lot more colorful, right? Like a lot of other movies are very bland.
They're very dark. Yeah. So you get this like great soundtrack, like the whole feeling of it changes. Like it's a bit more upbeat, and it has a lot of comedic relief and just comedy in general. Like Peter Quill is a goon. Like he's a doofus.
And it's somehow in a way that only James Gunn can. They take very, very fun comedy and also find ways to rip your heartstrings, and like the whole "We Are Groot" thing.
Oh yeah,
that leads into Baby Groot, and Funko was saved as a company, and I think like the way that they had them beat the final boss by or the final boss, but I'm such a gamer.
The final boss.
Oh, what's his name? The alien Thanos's minion there, who they like kill at the end, who had the hammer.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
where
Oh
Peter
my,
like he like sings some like tracks
he does
from.
the fucking dance battle.
Yeah, that was
Oh
awesome.
yeah, yeah, I
That was
agree.
awesome. It was
I
great.
It was such a good turning point. I would probably I'm somewhere between S and A.
I think it's an S tier.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
We'll keep Iron Man at the top of S, but
Yeah. As a stable winner. Um okay, Age of Ultron.
I like Age of Ultron.
Personally, I love Age of Ultron. I think for a really long time I said it was my favorite, and I've recently changed my mind and realized that maybe that's not the one that I've always been thinking of, but we'll get to that soon.
Okay.
So yeah, I personally love Age of Ultron. I think again, I'm a sucker for any of them that they're all in. I think Ultron being the bad guy, he's just a good fucking bad guy.
He is. He's a really good bad guy. It was a really interesting kind of like ethical quandary, right? Like an AI, which has become very relevant, deciding that
Mhm.
perhaps the best thing for the world is to kill all humans.
Mhm.
Tracks.
And then I love the whole like Jarvis thing too. Like you kind of lose Jarvis, but gain him in
You
a
get
whole
Vision.
different, yeah, a whole different world, which is then Vision.
And I
Eh,
feel like a lot of the other Avenger movies, you don't get a lot of time where you just get to watch them casually like interact. But
uh-huh.
because like there's just so like there's those movies are so jam packed with stuff. But this
Mhm.
movie like kind of saves a little space to just be like, well, what if we have a contest where they all try to pick up Thor's hammer? Um,
Which then later on plays into freaking Endgame
yeah,
and Steve and everything. And like, it's such a good hint to what is to come. And it also just shows how well they prepare all of these minor things for things later on. Like the MCU, like a lot of people like are like, I'm sick of like the second, third phase. But it's like when the MCU was good, it was great because they had that shit laid out to a fucking T, like for
yeah,
years, which is wild. Age of Ultron, I'm a sucker. I would put it in A.
go for it.
Yeah. Ant-Man.
I like Ant-Man.
I like Ant-Man, didn't love Ant-Man.
I think some of the sort of like sequences where his friend is explaining like telling a story and they kind of do these really
Yeah.
fast montages of like
It's
I
like
think
he told me and she told me and blah 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 blah.
yeah those were pretty iconic, and I think some of the more clever like funny little bits that are recurring, and I think this is like the best of the Ant-Man movies. I think the quality very quickly drops off.
Uh-huh.
um but yeah, I don't think it's as good as like an Age of Ultron. I would say like a pretty good B tier comedy movie.
I think that's where I was going. Again, you kind of see that uptick of comedy again. They're trying to like bring in some less a less serious character.
Yeah,
Um Civil War. This is the movie that I think is actually my favorite.
really.
Next to like I don't know. I think Endgame like is arguably like the best, but
Sure.
I think if I'm not looking at the last games, the last movies, this is the one that I love. Like I said, I'm a sucker for any of them that they're all in, but I think the fight sequences in this is so cool. I
There.
think the story is really cool. Like
It is, yeah.
them fighting, like you get introduced to Peter,
Yep.
so we get like our new Spider-Man. It just like I also did not appreciate this until a little bit later when I really understood Star Wars too, and young Peter Parker being like, you know, that really old movie with the walking things, and they're like, who the fuck is this kid, Tony? And he's like, I think he's actually honest. Now I understand because I know what they're talking about, and so like just a lot of this movie, I love. I will go S tier on this movie because I think it's just that good.
I'll respect it. I'll
Yeah.
respect it. I'm not as warm on it, but I after the Zelda debate of Majora's Mask versus Ocarina of Time, I'm just gonna let this one go.
I'm curious though. Not your favorite
I
though?
It's a good movie, and I liked it a lot up until, and I actually think that this was like up until this point, I was just kind of casually watching the MCU, and then this was the movie that I was like, oh, I need to go on the opening night of all these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the end, I mean, major spoilers here. when like Tony finds out that Bucky killed his parents, and then he tries to like murder Bucky. Um, ethically, I don't think an eye for an eye, even in that scenario, is right.
Right.
And I really didn't like that he was like, oh, he killed my mom, so I need to kill him, even though I understand the feeling, the sentiment, but I was like, this is just, it felt very like, oh yeah, this is a movie by Americans. And that was my only complaint about it. I was like, I don't like this moment. It made me like think really hard about capital punishment in a way that I was like, I don't need to be doing that in a Disney movie. But it is good. It's a very good movie.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange is again, I thought it was really good. I think you start to see this like kind of change in the MCU. It wasn't as like funny, but I just felt like the whole movie was slightly different, and it was a good origin story. And again, you're starting to learn again about a new Infinity Stone here.
Yeah, and I thought there was some really cool, like, kind of magical, like it introduces the world of magic into the MCU, and like some of the shots of them in sort of the like warping reality and stuff was really cool.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, the whole Dormammu, like I'd come to talk, and he just like does it over and over and over again. That was a lot of fun.
Yep. Yeah, again, and I think like you were talking about, like when they did the whole like warp of like the city and stuff where it's like folding over, it felt like it was done well. Again, given this movie was done a few years ago, it's obviously CGI, but I think it was that good CGI where we had that time where it wasn't like obnoxious, you know. Speaking of
obnoxious. There's an X. There is.
It's something else is gonna pop up anyways. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry for the freaking. I'm gonna see if I can cut it down. We have freaking just ads everywhere. It's pissing me off. But yeah, I would probably go A.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's quite S, because I'm thinking of like some of these other ones that I would put above it. But I think it's like it's a solid A for me.
For sure. Right.
So now that we're real, I think this is like really
phase 3. This is the start of phase 3. I think phase 3 starts with Doctor Strange, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So the next one would be Guardians of the Galaxy, but we're actually going to pause here because we're going to make this a 2-part series. Surprise! I know I didn't mention this at the beginning. We're going to make this a 2-part series and come back to this because there is still a handful of movies. And the whole point of this was that Alex and I were going to kind of talk through a lot of these movies, what we liked, what we didn't like about it. And I don't want to rush the rest of this with us already nearing in on an hour of this episode. So we decided that we're going to make this a 2-part series and come back to it so we can happily get through the MCU. And I think this was a really good start.
It was. I feel like we got a lot done. We've agreed more than I thought we would.
Oops. There we go. Yeah, I agree. I think, it's MCU. I know there's a lot of haters, but it's hard to hate on some of those movies. They're just incredible. They've done a good job.
I think the second half, there's a lot more hating that we can do, but
yeah. But so yes, we will finish up the next time we're together. So give us 2 weeks back to finish this up. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Like I said, it was just nice to take a break from the video game side, and that's what this podcast is about, was like more of like the nerdy things. And I think the MCU is definitely one of those like really great nerdy things that we can sit down and spend some time on. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks for the patience while we skipped a week. Find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, most
wherever
everywhere.
You get your podcasts.
Yeah, wherever you get your podcasts. If you listen to any good podcast, real podcast, that's what they say at the end. Wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you guys there. See you guys then. Yeah. Bye, guys.